So I want to talk today about leadership, about year-end stuff, and I want to do it through a story. I just left the final board meeting where I was the presiding chairperson of the board of directors for this nonprofit. During my 2 years, the first 6 or 7 months, not a lot happened. And then we found ourselves thrown into crisis because somebody accused us of fraud and irresponsible accusation. We had to defend ourselves against it. We had to do it in the public eye. And it was a very challenging, probably 6 to 9 months. To be honest, it was two of probably the best years I've ever had in leadership. And I was looking back at this experience and why it has been so good. In the face of everything that happened, why has this been such a good experience for me? And I've come down to 3 things. I want to share those 3 things with you today and encourage you as you look forward to 2016 and setting the tone for everything you're going to accomplish next year as a business owner, as a leader. I want you to think about whether these 3 things are present, and if they're not, I want you to rethink what you're planning to do next year and maybe stretch into these 3 things. So number 1, is the thing that you're planning on doing going to require you to acquire a new skill to be successful? If it doesn't require you to get good at something you don't know how to do now, I want you to re-examine it and possibly stretch yourself in a way that you haven't considered yet. Looking back at this experience, the one skill that I really had to acquire, that I had no idea I even needed to acquire it, but it taught me a ton, was how to deal with the press. How to be in a very public situation, representing the face of an organization, and to do it in front of the media. That was something I had 0 experience with. The second thing I think you have to have, you need to take on a role that requires you to manage and depend on the efforts of others to be successful. It should not be about just putting things on your plate or just signing up for roles where it's all up to you to perform. Sooner or later you have to step outside of your comfort zone and you have to hinge your success on the success of other people. And weathering the storm that we had to weather as part of this nonprofit, there's no way I could have done it. We had teams and teams of people behind the scenes, experts, we had people on staff, we had volunteers. To the extent we were successful as an organization coming through that, it was totally dependent on the efforts of those folks. It required a tremendous amount of coordination, but learning how to deal with that on a scale much bigger than anything I had done before is something that helped me grow. Last, you need to serve an audience that's much bigger than their ability to thank you, to repay you, to possibly understand what it is that you're doing for them. I was lucky in this crisis to be serving an audience that was hundreds of employees and hundreds of volunteers. And because they couldn't thank me, because they couldn't repay me, I knew that my efforts on their behalf were totally service-oriented. As you go forward this next year, look at the things you've committed to, look at the roles that you're trying to fulfill, and number 1, are you gonna have to learn a new skill? Number 2, are you gonna have to depend on the efforts and manage the efforts of other people? And number 3, are you serving an audience that's much bigger than you are? Do those 3 things next year, and I guarantee you're gonna expand your leadership capacity. See you guys tomorrow.